Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, here with Greg Hansen. Greg, in our last episode, and if you haven't watched it, go watch it, we talked about your favorite plays in the history of the Arizona State football rivalry. Let's talk about Saturday's game. It's funny, both teams' seasons seem to always come down to this game.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we're looking at such a wide range of what could happen here. Arizona could punch its ticket to the Sun Bowl with a win. I think Khalil Tate could punch his way back in the Heisman Trophy conversation with a win. With an ASU loss, Todd Graham might get fired. With an ASU win, the Sun Devils could end up in the Sun Bowl, and Todd Graham could get fired, or Todd Graham could get an extension, or. There's so much still up in the air in one game.
I think if ASU wins, if Washington State doesn't beat Washington, I think Todd Graham would be the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. And he's that close to being fired, really?
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's reading things out of Phoenix this week. It's like they make it sound like he's coaching for his job.
Yeah. I know it hasn't been exciting there for a long time.
Right.
Since what, 2013?
Probably.
Really, they haven't been good for a long time. And they need to be good because they spent $300 million to redo their facility. They've got good players.
Sure. Rich Rodriguez, since last spring, really, has talked about how this would be a sort of tear down and rebuild of his program. He brought in all these young players, the new assistant coaches, the whole thing. At Arizona State, they don't talk rebuild, right? At Arizona State, they talk every year about competing for a championship, whether that's a Pac-12 championship.
That didn't work.
It didn't work. But, I mean, if Rich Rodriguez, in a self-diagnosed rebuilding year, were to go to Tempe and beat Todd Graham in a year in which the Sun Devils thought they might have had something, that would be a significant sporting event, I think, for both schools. I think that could get a coach fired.
Yeah. I think, other than the road game at USC, this is Arizona's most difficult game of the year.
Okay.
Given that they have no defensive line, given that they're probably going to try you out at defensive line.
I'm bigger than a couple of their guys.
If Arizona wins this game, I will be stunned.
Is it matchup more than anything, too? I mean, ASU, you look at their big guys. I mean, Kalen Ballage is a load to bring down, even with a healthy team. You know they're going to try to pound it with him, right?
Right.
And then you look at, I mean, N'Keal Harry's pretty good.
Oh, I think he's the best receiver in the league.
Right. N'Keal Harry and Manny Wilkins, very quietly.
Good, really good.
Yeah, while everybody's been stepping all over each other, and justifiably so, to talk about how great Khalil Tate has been. Manny Wilkins, very quietly good.
I think Arizona State will gain 600 yards in this game.
Wow.
I think they'll just stomp all over Arizona.
Wow.
I do. Look, who's Arizona beat? Other than Washington State.
UCLA, who got their coach fired.
I think Washington State beat themselves that night as much as anything. They threw 4 interceptions. Mike Leach panicked and dumped Luke Falk. But it was a really good win.
Right.
It was the kind of game, every year you have a game like that.
Right.
Other than that, who is Arizona beating?
Right. I would say Colorado at Colorado is significant in that it was on the road. But you're right. I mean, they beat a UTEP team that fired its coach. They beat a UCLA team that fired its coach. A Colorado team clearly rebuilding. Who else?
Clearly rebuilding.
Right. A Cal team with a first-year coach. You're right. But, I mean, I think you could say the same about ASU. I'm not sure ASU's beaten anybody either.
No, neither one has.
Right.
They're both, I think, it's amazing that one of them is going to finish second place in this league.
Yep.
Shows you how off the Pac-12 is this year.
It's just a weird year. And just when we think we've kind of got it figured out, something wacky happens in the Pac-12. You know, every year we talk about, I think I'm more of a believer in Stanford than you are. But every year we talk about, well, this is probably the year Stanford just regresses. Stanford's been pretty darn good.
They're okay.
Washington hasn't played anybody, but Washington's been pretty darn good. Washington State, without anybody paying attention, is pretty darn good. You look in the Pac-12 South, and it's...
Yeah.
Whew.
This isn't the USC epic team at all.
Nope.
You know, I just think I'd like to see Arizona play so much better than they played against Oregon. They got out-coached so badly in that game. They couldn't figure out. I mean, Oregon totally took them out. I think Todd Graham will do the same thing.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook. For Greg Hansen, I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.